Adam Lee looked around the huge council hall and took a deep breath. The room was larger than any human building he had ever seen. Lights floated in the air, making soft glows across tall walls made of polished crystal. Hundreds of delegates sat in rising rows, watching the small group of humans in the center. Adam felt the eyes on him, cold and calculating. He tried to remain calm. Behind him stood Nora Price, a young advisor with sharp eyes, and Jack Turner, a military observer whose face never betrayed emotion. The humans had been invited here for a peace treaty, but from the first moment, Adam had known the council's tone was not friendly. The speaker, an alien named Varish, stepped forward. He was old, with thin green skin and long fingers that twisted like branches. His voice echoed through the hall. He welcomed the humans and said today would decide the future of human relations with the galaxy. He expected obedience. Adam listened carefully and smiled slightly to himself. Humans did not obey threats easily. Adam unfolded the treaty on the table in front of him. The words looked simple at first, but the meaning was clear. Humans were expected to limit their fleets, pay heavy taxes, allow alien patrols in their space, and give up control of trade routes they had earned. Nora whispered beside him, pointing out more hidden traps. They want full control of our borders and our colonies, she said softly. They want us weak and afraid. Jack turned slightly and watched the crowd. His jaw was tight, but his eyes were calm. He had read the reports of council fleets already moving near human space. The council believed humans were small, weak, and dependent. The first speaker, a cold reptilian named Sirik, hissed as he spoke. He said humans were new and reckless and could not be trusted. Then Tilari, a soft-voiced insectoid, added that the council's treaty was mercy, not punishment. Humans were expected to accept it quietly. Other delegates whispered agreements, nodding. Adam kept his face steady. He said nothing yet. He listened. He wanted to understand what the council truly thought of humans. After the speeches, Adam stood and spoke. His voice was calm but clear. He thanked the council for the meeting and explained that humans wanted peace, yes. But peace meant fairness, not submission. He presented a counteroffer. Humans would agree to joint patrols, open trade, and a shared investigation into border attacks. The offer was simple and reasonable. Nora brought up a small holo display showing maps and trade routes. She pointed to the areas humans wanted protected. We want a fair future, not chains, she said. Some of the younger delegates looked interested. Others scowled. Sirik called it a dream of a weak species, and Varish said humans did not understand order. Adam realized that the council's patience was thin. He saw it in the way some delegates leaned forward and the hiss of whispered words. Behind the calm words of the treaty, there were threats. A secret file appeared on the main holo, showing council fleets moving near human space. Ready to act. A smug delegate spoke quietly, expecting Adam to hear. We only need to remind them of their place. The council wanted fear, dependence, and obedience. Adam turned to Nora and Jack. Nora's face was tense, but she nodded. Jack received a coded message on his wrist device from Human Command. It confirmed what they feared. The council did not want peace. It wanted control. Adam knew the time had come to make a choice. He rose slowly. The hall went silent. All eyes focused on the human. Adam's voice carried across the room, steady and calm. Humans will not sign this treaty. We thank you for your time, but we will not accept conditions that make our people weak. Humanity will seek its own path. Whispers rose, then shouts. Sirik hissed that humans were rebels. Tilari warned they would regret their choice. Adam ignored them. He turned, walking toward the exit with Nora and Jack. Cameras recorded every step. Guards watched silently. The humans left without anger, without fear. The council expected them to return, broken and submissive, but Adam did not intend to. Outside the chamber, the council laughed. They believed the humans would crawl back after seeing the true size of council power. They discussed sending more fleets to human borders, cutting trade, and making life hard for humans. They did not understand that humans were prepared. They did not see the younger delegates' worried faces. Some whispered to each other, wondering if the council had made a mistake. Adam and his team returned to their shuttle. It was small, simple, and fast. They received final orders from Earth Command: leave council space immediately. Nora sent messages to the few alien friends she had made, apologizing and explaining, only to reply with short, worried words. Jack monitored the human fleets and supply lines, making sure everyone moved safely. The shuttle undocked, leaving the council station behind. Humans did not fire or protest. They left with precision, and human embassies on council worlds began to close. Flags were lowered. Trade contracts ended. Council members thought humans were making a mistake, that soon they would beg to return. For days, only annoyance spread among the aliens. Humans appeared weak, alone, and isolated. Then the council began to notice problems. A refinery near the border tried to order human-made parts and received no reply. A medical research world needed chemicals produced only on human colonies, and shipments never came. Even a merchant captain named Kelly Brooks, the last human trader in council space, turned her ship and jumped for home. Small cracks began to appear in council systems. Human absence was felt more than expected. In human space, everything was different. Human cargo ships moved between colonies full of food, medicine, and supplies. Old ships were repaired, modernized, and ready. Adam traveled between Earth and colonies, giving calm speeches to reassure people. Nora worked with engineers and scientists to improve trade, food production, and defense. Jack oversaw training exercises for fleets and local militias. Humans were quietly preparing to survive and thrive alone. A young alien diplomat named Lyra secretly contacted Nora. She warned that not all council members agree with the hard line. Some wanted a quick lesson against humans. Nora replied carefully, warning that any attack on human colonies would not be simple. The council voted to increase pressure on humans, expecting submission. They believed humans would collapse under embargoes, trade cuts, and isolation. They did not see the careful planning humans had already completed. They did not understand that humans had survived hurricanes, earthquakes, wars, and plagues, rebuilding every time. The council thought strength was only in numbers and fleets. But humans had a different kind of strength, will, and resilience. Adam sat on the shuttle deck with Nora and Jack. He looked at the stars and thought about the council chamber, the speeches, and the hidden threats. He knew humans had to be ready for anything, but he also knew this was the right path. Humanity would walk away from lies, threats, and chains. The galaxy might laugh or sneer now, but soon it would learn that humans did not break under pressure. They would survive, adapt, and grow. The shuttle passed the outer stations quietly. Lights of distant colonies blinked below. Human flags flew over starports. Children, engineers, scientists, and soldiers moved with purpose. Humanity was still small compared to the galaxy, but it was alive, organized, and united. Adam felt a quiet pride. They had not fought yet, but the first battle had already been won. Humans had chosen to walk away, and in doing so, they had taken the first step toward shaping their own future. He leaned back in his chair and looked at Nora. She smiled faintly, understanding the same thought. Jack, as always, watched silently, a steady presence. The council might think they were weak. They might try to punish them, but humans were not afraid, and they had already begun the work of survival. The galaxy would remember the day humans walked away. Adam Lee sat in the shuttle as it moved away from council space. The stars stretched in long lines outside the windows. Nora Price and Jack Turner were with him, quiet but alert. Earth Command had sent instructions: leave council space at once. No one was to look back. The humans followed orders, but inside, each of them felt the weight of the council's expectations and their own resolve. The council thought humans were small and weak, but Adam knew better. Humanity had survived far worse. On board the shuttle, Nora sent encrypted messages to the few alien friends she had made. Most did not answer. Two replied, short and cautious. They warned that the council might act violently soon. Adam read them carefully and then deleted the messages from the console. He did not want their knowledge to fall into the wrong hands. Jack watched the shuttle systems. monitoring communications and fleet movements. Human command was in constant touch, sending updates and alerts. They were leaving nothing to chance. The Council might think humans were isolated, but humans were always connected, always preparing. The shuttle passed a human border station. Lights blinked as cargo ships and shuttles moved in orderly lines. The small colonies were alive with energy, not panic. In Council space, the leaders thought the humans' walk away was dramatic but harmless. They began closing doors, lowering flags, and canceling trade agreements. Human embassies were emptying. Council members whispered that humans would soon return, begging for mercy. Varsh and Sirik laughed, confident that humans were trapped by their own size and isolation. They did not notice younger delegates watching with unease. Some questioned whether this was wise. Some already feared the humans could not be controlled. Weeks passed. The Council expected trouble for humans. They thought that without trade, without parts and supplies, humans would fall behind. But then, small failures began to appear in Council space. A refinery on a remote world tried to order human-made parts, but received no answer. A medical research station needed chemicals produced only on human colonies. The shipment never came. Even merchant captains who had traded with humans turned back, unable to continue. Small cracks were forming in the Council systems, unnoticed at first, but real. In human space, everything moved in quiet order. Cargo ships carried essential supplies between colonies. Old starships were repaired, upgraded, and manned with trained crews. Adam traveled between colonies, giving short speeches and reassuring people. Nora worked with engineers and scientists on food, fuel, and supply lines. Jack trained local militias and coordinated defensive fleets. Humans were building strength, quietly, without panic. They were preparing to stand alone. One night, Nora received a hidden message from Lyra, a young alien diplomat who disagreed with the Council's harsh stance. Lyra warned that some Council factions wanted to attack humans as a lesson for leaving the treaty. She asked Nora to be careful. Nora replied, warning that any attack would be met with full human resistance. Adam read the messages and nodded. Humans had no wish to start war, but they were ready to defend themselves. In the Council, leaders voted to increase embargoes and pressure on humans. They cut trade routes, blocked shipments, and sent fleets closer to human borders. They expected humans to weaken under economic strain. They did not know that humans had already prepared to be independent. Humans had stockpiled supplies, built new systems, and trained crews. They had survived plagues, storms, earthquakes, and wars. The Council thought strength was only in numbers and fleets. Humans knew strength was also in willpower, unity, and adaptability. Adam and his team spent long hours reviewing reports, analyzing threats, and planning. They were careful, methodical. They did not panic or rush. They strengthened communication lines between colonies, making sure everyone had up-to-date information. They trained local engineers to repair ships without waiting for distant support. They improved food production and medicine distribution. Every move prepared humans for the time when the Council might act aggressively. Nora worked late into the night, examining Council data and identifying potential weaknesses. She noted small errors, outdated technology, and overconfidence. Jack tested the defense systems and trained crews in simulations, teaching them to act quickly and think creatively. Adam coordinated between human worlds, keeping morale high and ensuring that no one felt alone. In a small human colony near the border, miners worked quietly on refining materials essential for starship construction. Engineers tested engines for new frigates. Children played under the careful watch of parents who understood that their world was preparing for a challenge. Life continued, steady and determined. Humans did not panic, and the Council's assumptions began to crumble. Meanwhile, Council fleets continued to patrol near human space. They believed humans would soon bow to pressure. They did not expect the human silent strength. Every attempt to control human systems failed. Council fleets found that human communication codes had changed, that their logistics were efficient and resilient. Every strike they tried to plan was foiled by humans who had anticipated problems. and prepared alternatives. Small shortages began in council space. Shipyards could not finish repairs without human-made alloys. Factories could not complete weapons without human sensor chips. Hospitals faced delays without human medical bots. Suddenly, the council realized that human absence was not weakness. It was disruption. Traders and guilds complained loudly. Some council worlds began to question the wisdom of attacking humans. Protests spread quietly, growing in size. Adam met with Lyra secretly in a neutral location. They discussed potential alliances and strategies for keeping peace while protecting human space. Adam explained that humans wanted no unnecessary conflict. They only wanted safety and the freedom to grow. Lyra promised to spread the truth quietly among sympathetic council members. Small seeds of understanding began to form outside the public eye. On a shuttle back to a colony, Jack looked at star maps and fleet positions. He noted that humans now had more control of key trade and defense routes than before. Colonies were linked by secure lines. Supply chains were strong. The council could apply pressure, but humans could survive it. They could even thrive. Adam, Nora, and Jack often discussed what might happen next. They knew the council could make mistakes, but humans were patient. They had survived countless challenges before. They had learned to plan, to adapt, and to grow stronger from pressure. The council believed humans were new, weak, and reckless. The humans knew their own resilience. As weeks passed, humans quietly completed preparations across multiple colonies. Frigates were ready, cargo ships moved efficiently, and defense stations were operational. Scientists worked on long-term projects, engineers built new systems, and farmers maintained steady food production. Humanity was ready, not for war, but for survival and independence. One evening, Adam looked out at the stars from a shuttle window. He thought about the council chamber, about the threats and insults, and about the calm determination of humans. Nora sat beside him, reading reports and notes. Jack was silent, monitoring sensors and communications. The galaxy might see humans as small and weak, but humans knew the truth. They were strong, united, and ready for whatever came next. The council's mistakes were becoming clear, even if they did not realize it yet. Humanity's quiet strength was growing, preparing to meet any challenge with determination and intelligence. In the distance, a human colony orbited a small star, lights twinkling from settlements and ships. People went about their lives, unaware that the council's assumptions were falling apart. Humanity had not panicked, had not begged, and had not submitted. They had walked away from a false peace, and in doing so, they had begun to build a future they could control. The first part of the human plan had worked: survive, prepare, and show the galaxy that humans were not weak. The real story was just beginning, and the council did not yet understand the consequences of their choices. The council continued to expect humans to collapse under pressure. They sent fleets closer to human borders and tightened trade restrictions. The leaders believed humans would beg for mercy soon. They did not understand the quiet preparation taking place in human space. Adam Lee, Nora Price, and Jack Turner watched from command centers, making sure that every colony was connected, every fleet ready, and every supply chain secure. Humans were calm but ready. They had prepared for exactly this moment. In a small human colony called Redridge, miners worked on refining materials for starships. Engineers checked engines, tested weapons, and coordinated with nearby colonies. The colony looked small and peaceful from a distance, but it had hidden defenses. Adam had insisted on preparing even the smallest settlements, knowing the council could strike anywhere. Nora supervised logistics and supplies. Jack trained local crews, teaching them tactics for defense and survival. The people of Redridge were nervous but determined. They trusted the humans leading them. The council decided to make a show of force. A fleet of council ships moved toward Redridge, expecting an easy victory. Sirik and other leaders believed humans would scatter or surrender. Varsh gave secret approval to the operation, thinking it would scare humans back to the table. The council had no idea what waited for them when the fleet arrived. They sent a demand for Redridge to surrender. The council saw no threat. Redridge was small and appeared unarmed. Then human defenses activated. Hidden platforms on the moon rose silently. Drones launched in formation. Sensor screens showed false targets to confuse the Council ships. Human missiles fired precisely, hitting real targets. The Council fleet struggled to adjust. Their attacks struck empty space or decoys. Every move was anticipated. Lara King, a new human captain, led a small frigate to the front. She linked with the colony defenses, coordinating attacks. Her crew was anxious, but she gave calm orders. The human strategy was simple but effective. Council ships were confused and unable to concentrate fire. Drones moved quickly, shielding real targets and creating openings. Humans had prepared for technology gaps, for surprise attacks, and for miscommunication. Every Council ship struggled against the coordinated human response. The first battle ended quickly. Council ships retreated, losing several vessels. They had expected an easy strike and found themselves outsmarted by a smaller, hidden force. Redridge suffered minimal damage, and human leaders took careful notes. Videos of the fight were recorded and sent to media networks. Citizens across Council space watched a small colony defend itself against a larger, supposedly superior force. The Council's arrogance became public, and protests began to rise. Adam and Nora reviewed the battle footage. Jack reported fleet positions and possible Council responses. They discussed next steps calmly, planning both defense and diplomacy. Humans did not celebrate with arrogance. They were careful, knowing the Council might try again. Their goal was survival and independence, not revenge. As the news spread, Council worlds began to see the consequences of their actions. Shipyards delayed projects because key human-made alloys were no longer available. Weapons factories could not finish systems without human chips. Hospitals faced shortages without human medical bots. The Council realized that cutting off humans had not weakened them. It had disrupted Council space and economy. Protests and complaints from citizens and trade guilds grew louder. Humans used the situation to build quiet alliances. Sympathetic alien diplomats, like Lyra, offered rare resources and support in exchange for human technology and advice. These alliances were small and careful, hidden from Council leaders. Adam met with envoys in secret stations, planning cooperation that would not provoke unnecessary conflict. Humans were expanding influence not through war, but through preparation, trade, and intelligence. In the Council chamber, arguments became heated. Some leaders admitted that attacking Redridge had failed, and that humans were not as weak as they assumed. Varsh tried to calm the room, but the divisions were visible. Younger delegates spoke against further attacks. They warned that humans were growing stronger and more organized. The Council's overconfidence was starting to crumble. Humans strengthened their fleets. New frigates were completed and tested. Older ships were upgraded with better shields and sensors. Colonies formed local defense councils, coordinating quickly with nearby worlds. Communication lines were fast, secure, and redundant. Humans anticipated any Council move. They trained crews for rapid response, electronic countermeasures, and flexible tactics. Humans were not just reacting, they were preparing for any possibility. Meanwhile, some Council leaders attempted a last, quiet show of force. They sent a larger fleet to human space and ordered the humans to comply and reopen talks. The human fleet did not attack, but it did not step aside. Ships moved into position, ready for defense. The Council fleet attempted to jam communications, but humans had changed codes, hardware, and sensors. They were prepared. The Council was surprised by technology they did not expect. A Council captain fired a warning shot that went off course and struck a neutral station. The station sent a panicked call. The message recorded that the first real attack came from the Council side. Neutral worlds threatened to form separate alliances if the Council did not withdraw. The Council's plan to intimidate humans had failed completely. The more they tried to force compliance, the worse the situation became. Humans were proving themselves capable and disciplined. Adam, Nora, and Jack watched from command stations. They did not celebrate. They observed, analyzed, and coordinated. They knew the Council would make more mistakes. Humans were ready for them. Humans had survived disaster before. Now, humans were not just surviving, they were building strength and influence. Every step taken quietly increased their power without starting open war. Lyra continued to work with Nora in secret. She spread information to sympathetic council members, showing them the truth about humans. She pointed out that humans were not reckless, weak, or selfish. They were organized, intelligent, and cautious. Small seeds of understanding began to grow. The council could no longer act as a united front. Internal disagreements grew louder. In human space, every colony worked on preparation. Engineers finished repairs on older ships. New ships were launched. Cargo ships moved resources efficiently. Food and medicine were distributed carefully. Humans built backup systems to ensure survival even if council attacks escalated. Everyone understood that the first step was survival, the next was independence, and the third was proving their strength. Humans acted methodically, without panic or chaos. Adam reviewed reports of council fleet movements. He noted positions, capabilities, and potential weaknesses. Nora checked logistics, ensuring that no colony lacked food, water, or supplies. Jack tested fleet responses and trained crews in simulations. They worked in coordination, making sure humans were ready for diplomacy or defense. Humans were patient, focused, and resilient. The story of Redridge spread across the galaxy. Citizens of other worlds saw a small human colony defend itself with intelligence and planning. Protests against the council began in small cities and trade hubs. The council had underestimated humans. Their arrogance had created doubt, division, and unrest. Humans were proving that strength was not only in fleets and weapons, but in planning, unity, and willpower. Adam looked out at the stars one evening from a shuttle deck. He thought about the council chamber, the insults, the secret threats, and the calm determination of humans. Humans had survived hurricanes, earthquakes, wars, and plagues. Now they had survived the first test from the council. Humanity was not just alive, it was growing stronger. The council would soon learn that walking away from unfair peace agreements had not made humans weak. It had made them ready.